Hi guys! Welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new legal advice content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
First one is titled, "Just found out that a warehouse is being built on land that I own. I was never told about it and didn't sell my land to anyone. I own property in North Carolina. It's a piece of land on the outskirts of a town/small city that's slowly expanding. It used to be farmland, and there was an old house of little value. I live out of state and have not visited the place in 8 years. No one has been living in the house for the last 18 months. After all this time, I just went to have a look at my property. I was in for quite a shock as I arrived. Where my house used to be, the house has been torn down, and there is a construction crew working all over my lot. They said they're building a warehouse and offices. There's a huge hole in the ground. As I was there, 2 excavators were digging further into my land. A small hill there was flattened. I couldn't believe it because I've not been told about my land being used for construction, ever. I haven't sold my land or the house. I've never been called by anyone seeking to buy it. As I was driving there, I noticed that the city has expanded and there are now buildings much closer to my land than ever before. But I had no idea that my own land was being used for development. This is so crazy. I can't believe I'm even typing this. I pay the property tax on this lot every year. It's my name on the title. I'm livid. My land was taken from me without anyone telling me about it. I want to make the construction crew stop working on my property immediately. Then I want someone to explain me how this could happen, and of course get appropriate compensation from whoever is responsible. Where do I start? How do I make them stop? I tried talking to the workers, but they wouldn't listen. Edit. I get it, I'm getting a lawyer. Edit 2. And now the GIS website says it's no longer under my name. This is so ducked up. I have no words. I pay the taxes every year. How does this even happen? How do they send me taxes for property they don't think I own? Update. So many people were asking for an update. Here it is. I retained a lawyer and they started investigating. As some of you had said, there was problem with the taxes followed by a series of screw-ups by various people and services. My lawyer advises me not to go into further detail, so I won't. The whole situation looks like a clusterfuck of massive proportions in their opinion, and they haven't gotten to the bottom of it in any way. Looks like getting compensated is going to be a long and frustrating process. Now, I'm heading back to Michigan and letting my lawyer do their job here. Anyway, thanks for everyone's advice. I was a bit shocked and not seeing things clearly. So here I am providing an update about what happened to me about a year ago, when a warehouse was under construction on land that I owned without me being aware. That's when I realized that the land was no longer under my name, but I had not sold it. It took about a whole year to my lawyer to understand what happened and find a solution that would best serve my interests. What happened can be described as a succession of screw-ups and negligence by various county services and people who had an interest in not looking too closely in the matter. It was a matter of incompetence and negligence rather than illegal actions, it seems. Still very frustrating for me. I can't go into too much detail as it could be enough to identify in which county I am. The first problem was that the taxes I paid for that piece of land were applied to another parcel that a family member owns. As a result, the property tax on my parcel appeared delinquent. I was never made aware of this because the apparently only delinquent notice that was sent was addressed to my elderly uncle who used to live on the premises and had passed away a few months before. This is infuriating because the taxes were sent to me in Michigan, so they knew where to find me, but the delinquent notice was sent to a different address due to miscommunication between 2 services. The fact that my uncle and I have similar names, like I'm Michael John Doe and he was John Doe, likely added to the confusion. As a consequence of the unpaid taxes, my land was foreclosed and sold. The processes were expedited, and minimal effort was put into trying to reach me. There were other things that happened which were not really illegal, more like neglectful, but I won't describe them here on the advice of my lawyer. Apparently, at some point, some procedure wasn't completely respected, and I could have had an argument to sue and win. My attorney told me to prepare for an uphill battle, though, and one that would have been long and costly. In the meantime, my attorney communicated with the company that was having the buildings constructed. They decided to pause the construction to evaluate the situation. Then they restarted, then stopped again. Probably they were advised that we had grounds to sue, and the proceedings could last forever. There didn't appear to be any mistake or illegality from their side, but likely they didn't want to waste any time on that. So after negotiating with my attorney, they made an offer that I accepted in exchange for me not to claim my land back. I might have gotten more from suing everyone, but I wasn't ready for years of legal battle. I'm bitter that land that belonged to my family for over a century was taken from me like that. However, in the end I was compensated fairly and rather easily, so Tennessee is it arson if I burn down a building that I own. I just inherited my father's farm. It has a barn where my father used to spend time away from us drinking and yelling. Also, it's where he would bring me and my siblings to give us beatings and lock us up for the night when he was mad at us. My brother and I want to burn down the barn with some of my father's possessions inside to relieve ourselves of the memories. Can we pour gasoline and set the barn on fire, or would it be arson? Update. Hi everyone, came here to give an update as many people asked. The burning of the barn finally happened. We went to the fire department and asked about a controlled burn. They said it might be okay under certain conditions, but they had to do an inspection first. They made us remove all that could have produced toxic fumes and pollution, like old tires and the ruins of a tractor. The wood was dry, and there was almost no paint left, so they said it was fine to burn. They were actually glad for the opportunity because they had a new guy to train. They said they would do protection of the other buildings and nearby bush, and it would be a productive training session for them. When the day finally came, they let us start the fire. More of a symbol than anything. They did the real starting for safety reasons. The fire had to be helped a bit because it had rained a lot the days before, but then the whole barn was engulfed at once. It was beautiful in a way. I must say it burned spectacularly well. There was almost nothing left in the end, which is exactly what we wanted. For those of you who were worried about us burning valuable stuff, we did keep some tools and a pile of boards that we will sell, but there wasn't much more than that, except if you can find value in porn magazines from the 80s, empty bottles, and nude girls' calendars. These were my father's possessions, so we had a lot of pleasure in letting them burn. We added his clothes for good measure. We likely could have sold more of the barn wood, but there was more purpose for us in burning it all down. Probably won't solve the deeper issues of what our father did, but it did bring some relief and some sense of closure. Unfortunately, we couldn't throw the big BBQ party we wanted for the fire department. We did have some beer though, because of COVID restrictions, but we all decided to do it later, hopefully next summer. The firemen were real bros, really cool but professional, and they seemed to have as much fun as we did. We're really thankful for their help. Florida Homeowner Association towed my car because the registration sticker wasn't current, even though the registration itself is current. Homeowner Association rules don't say anything about registration stickers. I live in a development that is almost all townhouses. I have one assigned spot and one guest spot. I have 2 cars, so I use the guest spot for my second car, as is permitted by the rules. I had a properly displayed guest pass per the rules, and the car runs and is in good repair. 2005 Mustang GT. I was towed this morning, didn't find out until this evening. Went to the tow company, and I was told that the vehicle was towed at around 6:30 a.m. because the registration sticker was not current. For whatever reason, I didn't receive the registration placard and sticker for that car until last week, and I guess it slipped my mind to put the sticker on. The last sticker on the plate was, I think, a couple months expired. Can't remember. Already put the new sticker on. I'm not 100% sure if they can tow for this, but either way I'm fairly confident that they cannot tow for this reason, unless it's in the Homeowner Association rules. The parking rules that were issued make zero reference to visible display of current stickers, and that lack of same means a vehicle is subject to tow. The only relevant language is as follows. Parking areas are solely for non-commercial vehicles with current passenger vehicle registrations. There is also a provision that says non-conforming vehicles can be towed without notice. Most of the other provisions relate to commercial vehicles, derelict vehicles, improperly parked vehicles / blocking other spots, etc. My vehicle has current registration, so according to the language here, I believe it is in compliance. I did not have notice that the vehicle could be towed due to an issue with the sticker. Is this worth fighting? Update. Homeowner Association wrongfully towed my car and admits in writing it was wrongfully towed. Won't refund my money, tells me to get it from the towing company. Towing company won't refund my money. My car was towed from my own complex due to expired registration, even though the registration was never expired. I tried explaining this to the tow company, Even showed them the registration, and they said they just tow when the homeowner association or the spotters tell them to tow. I talked to the homeowner association. They admitted in writing that the car was wrongfully towed, but won't issue a reimbursement because, direct quote, "This is between you and towing company, as this was a wrongfully towed vehicle towed by towing company." Should I just take these people to small claims court at this point? I also plan on reporting the towing company to any and all regulatory authorities, just so they have something on file, because this is not the first or second time they've done this to someone in my neighborhood. I spoke to a gentleman here whose car was also illegally towed under Colorado. Neighbor claims that actual property line is 6 inside my fence. I recently received an email from the representative of the owner of the lot directly to the north of my house. They are claiming that the property line is 6 on my property, or where I thought it was, 3 inside my house. They want me to sign a document that looks to allow me to keep my house where it is, but that also agrees with their placement of the property line, and says that they can avenge the fence on the new property line. I'm fairly certain that my house predates theirs. It was built in 1886. However, they are planning on developing a big condo, so I assume they have a legal team and financial backing. Edit. They provided me with a Altus/Axum land title survey from what looks to be a legitimate, if small, surveying company. Edit 2. They mentioned that they wanted to make an offer on the house a few weeks back. I politely told them that I was not interested in selling unless they were talking about 3x the market value of the house and apologized. Everything about it was civil, and I don't believe that I antagonized anyone. Edit 3. Spoke to a lawyer that specializes in real estate, and he instructed me to contact the title company that I closed with for the initial sale. Apparently they will fund or provide counsel as part of my title insurance. Edit 4. The title company just now got back to me with a letter that essentially says, "We're looking into it," and the developer is now threatening to just tear down the fence since it's on the owner's property. It seems they have closing set for the 26th and are trying to force my hand before then. Edit 5. I spoke with the lawyer that I had contacted initially, and he sent a threat of injunction if they tore down the fence. This seemed to slow them down. It also exposed that there are a few factions on the other side of this: the owner, the developer who was offering to buy, and another group of developers. The developer who was offering to buy backed out, or at least rescinded his offer. The owner, whom I spoke to on the phone, does not seem to care how or when this gets resolved as long as we do it amicably. The group of developers, though, seem to have a financial interest in me accepting and signing something that accepts that the property line is inside my fence line. Enough that they are offering to build a brick wall in place of the fence if I let them move it. They're kind of weirding me out with what seems to me as slimy behavior, being pushy, talking crap about my lawyer, etc. I think that their interest expires at the end of the month, and I will need to decide if I want to A. let them have the land but build a wall, or B. let the contract expire and deal directly with the owner. I'm leaning towards B at this time. Oh, I'm in the process of contacting old owners to find out the history of the title company just now got back to me with a letter that essentially says, "We're looking into it," and the developer is now threatening to just tear down the fence since it's on the owner's property. It seems they have closing set for the 26th and are trying to force my hand before then. Edit. The real estate lawyer I contacted advised me to contact my title company. I did so, and they just now got back to me with nothing more substantive than someone has been assigned to it. Edit 2. Started asking the developer about what kind of fence he's proposing on putting up. He said they'd put up a nicer one. He seems unfamiliar with the existing fences, and I think he needs to come look at the property. Edit 3. Heard back from the title company with their counsel's direct line. Left another message. Just waiting to hear back from him. Edit 4. Sent the developer a legalize "you will get sued if you tear down this fence" before waiting for my title company to perform their own survey and such. His boss contacted me and we are meeting today. I'm planning on telling him that he can compensate me as though it were mine, because if we go to court it very probably is, even assuming his survey is accurate, or delay closing to wait to find out if it is mine. Thanks for listening.